Okay, so we're diving into holistic homesteading today.
Right.
And, I gotta say, just looking at these excerpts,
Mm-hmm.
this seems like way more than just,
Yeah.
growing your own vegetables.
Right. It's a whole lifestyle shift.
Yeah, like a philosophy.
Yeah, and it's about
Yeah.
connecting with nature and becoming more self-sufficient,
Yeah.
aligning your life
Oh,
with your
yeah.
values in a very real way. Yeah.
It's funny you say that because just glancing at the material,
Yeah.
it's like I was kind of getting that vibe. Like, this isn't just about, like, having a nice tomato plant.
Totally.
It's more about...
Yeah, it's a much deeper
Yeah,
connection. It's
yeah.
like, imagine waking up to fresh eggs
Oh,
from your own chickens.
right.
Or brewing a cup of tea
Right.
with herbs that you grew yourself.
I love that.
That sense of connection is
Yeah.
really powerful.
I'm with you there, but
Yeah,
I gotta say, if I'm picturing myself, like, building a chicken coop from scratch, that feels a little intimidating.
I hear you.
Yeah.
It can feel that way.
Yeah.
But this guide actually
Does it really
walks
work?
you through it.
Oh.
Yeah. And what's great
What?
is that they break it down into these really manageable steps.
Okay.
And they use simple materials.
Oh, right.
Things that are easy to find.
Okay.
And they even offer
Oh, cool.
different designs.
Yeah.
Based on how much space you have,
Yeah.
how many chickens you want.
Mm.
So it's all about finding what works.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes it seem way less
Yeah,
intimidating.
exactly.
So, okay, we're not going to jump to the chickens just yet.
Not yet.
But, before we even think about that,
Right.
this whole idea of mindful intention,
Oh, yeah.
that really stuck out to me when I was looking at this.
Yeah.
What does that even mean in
Yeah.
this context? It's about taking a step back
Okay.
before you even touch the soil
Right.
and really thinking about
Well.
what you want
Okay.
from your homestead.
Okay.
What are your goals?
Right.
What kind of lifestyle do you envision
Yeah.
for yourself?
So it's more than just I'm going to
It's not just a to-do list.
grow tomatoes.
Yeah, it's like...
What's the feeling
Yeah.
you want to create?
Okay, I like that.
And they actually suggest,
Oh,
starting with a morning routine.
okay, interesting.
That includes things like
Okay.
nature journaling or meditation.
So you're setting
Yeah. Getting yourself in the right
your intention from the get-go.
headspace. Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're being mindful. We're setting our
We're
intention.
getting grounded, and then it's
Yeah.
about practical planning,
Okay.
like mapping out your garden space,
Right.
thinking about things like sunlight, microclimates,
Those are all important.
all those practical considerations.
Yeah.
And they even have tips
Yeah, right.
for urban homesteaders,
Okay.
like how to create a thriving garden
Yeah.
on a balcony.
See, that's what I thought this would be great for.
Yeah.
Because I've always wanted to grow my own herbs, but I have a teeny, tiny balcony.
Right.
So
right.
I thought, forget it.
Not at all.
Really?
They show you how to maximize space
Okay.
with things like wall-mounted planters
Oh, that's a good idea.
and trellises.
Okay.
You can even grow veggies vertically,
Yeah.
like cucumbers or beans.
Wow.
So it's
Right.
all about getting
That's cool. So you can still have
right.
a thriving garden,
Yeah.
even in a small space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great. Okay. This companion planting thing,
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of that, but I don't really know what it is.
So companion planting is about,
Is that about making sure your plants don't fight?
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It's about
Yeah.
understanding
Yeah.
how different plants
Okay.
can benefit each other,
Oh,
in a really practical way.
interesting. So they're not just
Not just 'cause
coexisting. They're
they're helping each other out.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For example,
Okay.
did you know?
I don't know a lot about
Okay.
them.
So planting nasturtiums
Okay.
near your tomatoes
Mhm.
can actually protect them
Really?
from aphids,
Oh wow.
because the aphids are attracted
Okay.
to the nasturtiums.
Okay.
So they'll go for those instead
That's amazing.
and leave your tomatoes.
So natural pest control.
It is.
Okay.
It's like nature's own pest control system.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Right.
So,
And the guide provides lots of other
oh wow.
companion planting combinations.
Okay.
For example,
Give me another one.
okay, basil repels tomato pests,
Okay.
but it also makes the tomatoes taste better.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the win-win.
So you're doubling down on the benefits there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've got our intentions set.
Uh-huh.
We've planned out our space.
Okay.
We're thinking about our companion planting.
Right.
What's next?
Yeah.
Does this guide get into the nitty-gritty?
It does.
Actually
Yeah,
planting?
there it covers everything.
Wow.
From starting seeds indoors
Okay.
to direct sowing.
Mm-hmm.
It even goes into detail about building raised beds,
Okay.
which can be like a game changer.
See, I've heard people talk about raised beds,
Yeah.
but I've never actually looked into it. So what's the deal with that?
So raised beds offer better drainage.
Okay.
Especially if you have clay soil.
Mm-hmm.
They also help the soil warm up faster in the spring, which means you can start planting earlier.
Okay.
And if you live in an urban area where the soil might be contaminated, raised beds give you a way to create a clean, controlled growing environment.
Okay.
So it's
so it's almost like creating a little mini ecosystem.
Exactly.
Okay, so it gives you more control over your growing conditions.
Way more control.
Okay, I like that. Now, when you're building these raised beds, do they tell you what kind of soil
they do?
They use.
They emphasize using a good quality potting mix that's light and airy, allows for good root development.
Okay.
And they talk about adding compost.
Okay, see, now we're getting into the composting thing.
Exactly.
Which I gotta say, I've always been curious about.
Okay.
But I always thought it would be way too complicated.
Right. I know a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
But they make it seem surprisingly simple.
Okay.
You could even create a compost system.
Get out of here.
Right in your apartment.
On my balcony.
Using a worm bin.
Worm composting.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Oh my gosh, I've never.
It's fascinating.
Had a result.
And the resulting compost.
So you're telling me I could have a little worm bin on my balcony?
Yes.
That's making compost.
It's incredible.
Oh my God.
And it's so nutrient rich.
Okay, I'm definitely going to look into that.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of turning
it's great.
Kitchen scraps into something that benefits my garden.
It's a closed loop system that reduces waste.
Right.
Nourishes your plants.
Yeah.
It's incredibly satisfying.
Really cool.
Just to see those worms working their magic.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is all very inspiring.
Good.
So we've covered the planning, the companion planting, the raised beds, the composting. Where do we go from here? I mean, what else does this?
From there, the guide also delves into more specific gardening techniques.
Right.
Like starting seeds indoors, hardening off seedlings, transplanting. They also offer guidance on organic pest control. Emphasizing natural methods, like using beneficial insects or creating your own garlic spray.
Okay, wait. So instead of using harsh chemicals, you can make your own pest control solution.
Yes, and they give you recipes.
Really?
For those homemade solutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how easy is that?
It's surprisingly easy.
Oh, really?
Like to make a garlic spray.
Okay.
You simply blend a few cloves of garlic with water, let it sit overnight.
Okay.
Strain it.
Right.
Spray it on your plants.
Oh my gosh.
That's it.
That's so simple.
Right.
Okay, try that.
And the best part is, it's safe for your family, your pets, and the environment.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So we've got our garden planned and planted. We're using natural pest control.
Okay.
We're even composting.
Right.
So what else?
So, I mean, this holistic homesteading.
Holistic homesteading doesn't stop at the garden gate.
Okay.
It also explores things like crafting natural remedies.
Oh, wow.
Making your own household cleaners.
Okay.
And even building that chicken coop.
Right. Right.
So it really covers a wide range of topics.
Okay.
All focused on creating a more sustainable and fulfilling lifestyle.
Okay. So before we get into those other aspects, I do want to go back to the garden for a sec.
All right.
Because I noticed when I was looking through this, they seem to really emphasize natural methods.
They do.
Especially when it comes to soil health.
Okay.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So they stress that healthy soil is the foundation of a thriving garden.
It makes sense.
And they recommend
natural methods for improving soil fertility. So instead of relying on synthetic fertilizers, they suggest using compost.
Which we just talked about.
Exactly. Mulch and cover crops.
Now, I've heard that term.
Okay.
Cover crops, but I don't really know what that is.
So cover crops are plants that you grow during the off-season to protect and improve the soil.
Oh.
They help prevent erosion, add organic matter, suppress weeds.
So instead of leaving the soil bare,
exactly,
you're planting something.
You're planting something beneficial.
That's going to help.
Yeah. It's like giving your garden a cozy blanket.
Oh, I like that.
For the winter.
Oh. Okay, so what kind of plants?
So there are lots of options.
Yeah.
Some common cover crops include clover, rye, and buckwheat.
Okay.
And the specific type you choose will depend on your climate.
Okay.
And the needs of your soil.
Okay.
So it's all about working with nature's cycles.
Yeah.
Not against them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And that seems to be like
it's a recurring theme throughout this guide.
Yeah, like a recurring theme throughout everything.
It's about understanding how nature works.
Right.
And finding ways to support those natural processes.
I'm really starting to see how this goes beyond just gardening. It's about creating a
whole, sustainable ecosystem.
Yeah.
Both in your garden and in your life.
Exactly.
And speaking of sustainability, they also touch on the benefits of rainwater harvesting.
Okay, so now we're talking about water.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
It is.
Especially with, growing concerns about water scarcity.
Absolutely.
So how does
rainwater harvesting?
Rainwater harvesting is actually quite simple.
Okay.
You basically set up a system
to collect rainwater from your roof. And store it in barrels.
Right.
And when you can use that water
to water your garden.
To irrigate your garden.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I love that idea.
It's great.
I've always thought about doing that, but I've never really...
Well, they go into detail.
Do they really?
About how to set up a rainwater harvesting system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered planting, companion planting, raised beds, composting, rainwater harvesting.
All right.
I mean, is there anything
that
this guide doesn't cover?
There's a lot more to explore in the world of holistic homesteading.
Well, let's keep going then.
Okay, so we've really only just scratched the surface
of
holistic homesteading.
Okay.
This guide goes way beyond just the practical aspects of gardening.
All right.
It also explores things like crafting natural remedies.
And homemade cleaning products.
Okay, so like making your own.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a real emphasis on like using natural ingredients.
Right.
Being mindful of what we're putting on our bodies and into our homes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. This whole idea of like an herbal apothecary.
Oh, yeah.
I love that idea.
Okay.
But it also sounds a little intimidating.
It can.
Yeah.
But they actually make it seem
really
very approachable.
Okay.
Even for beginners.
Right.
They talk about creating a personalized herbal apothecary.
Right.
Using plants like calendula and lavender.
Oh, wow.
To make soothing lotions and healing salves.
So you're like making your own.
You are.
Like medicines.
Yes.
Wow.
And imagine being able to like treat minor ailments.
Right.
With remedies that you crafted yourself.
That is very...
It's empowering.
Empowering.
Right.
Yeah. I've always been fascinated by herbalism, but I've always been like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, they break it down.
Do they really?
In a way that's easy to understand.
Okay.
They even provide a glossary of terms and resources.
That's great.
For further exploration.
So you can like start simple.
You can.
And then if you're...
Then go deeper.
I want to learn more.
Yeah.
You can.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
This is interesting too.
Yeah.
They talk about not just the physical benefits of herbs, but also like
the emotional
and
spiritual connections that we can cultivate with plants that you feel drawn to and just spending some quiet time with it.
Okay.
Observing its shape, its texture, its scent.
So you're really like...
You're just being present.
Tuning into that plant.
With it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you can even like place your hands on the plant.
Wow.
And feel its energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very different way of thinking about plants.
Yeah. It can be incredibly grounding and restorative.
This is so cool because it's like this whole guide is really highlighting how interconnected everything is.
Yeah.
It's not just about like...
That's just about the plants.
The plants. It's about
our well-being.
Yeah.
The soil.
The
seasons.
Okay. I like that.
And they talk about observing the natural rhythms of the seasons.
Yeah.
And aligning our lives with those rhythms.
Okay.
They even suggest like creating seasonal rituals.
Oh, wow. Okay, like what?
To mark the transition.
Yeah, what kind of rituals?
So, for example, for the spring equinox, they suggest planting seeds.
Okay.
And setting intentions for the growing season.
Okay.
For the summer solstice, they recommend celebrating the abundance of the harvest.
Makes sense.
With a feast.
I like it.
And for the winter solstice, they encourage creating cozy rituals to honor the darkness and welcome the return of the light.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's all about connecting with those cycles.
Yeah, it's like a reminder that
exactly. We're part of something bigger.
So much bigger
than ourselves.
Yeah. Okay.
And speaking of connecting with something bigger, they also talk about the importance of community.
Okay. Yeah, that's so important.
Because homesteading can sometimes feel like a solitary pursuit.
It can.
So they really encourage reaching out to others, sharing knowledge, and hosting gatherings.
Yeah, community is such a vital part of any lifestyle, especially one that's emphasizing like self-sufficiency and connection to nature.
And connection to nature.
Yeah.
So they suggest hosting workshops, teaching others about your homesteading skills, or even just gathering with friends and family to share meals made from your garden.
That's such a beautiful vision.
Yeah, it's not just about being self-sufficient.
Right.
It's about creating a web of support.
Yeah. And
sharing the abundance.
I like that.
Yeah. And they emphasize that this sharing can take many forms.
Okay.
From giving away extra produce to teaching others how to make herbal remedies or build a compost bin.
It's about empowering others.
It is.
To
to embrace.
Yeah, embrace this lifestyle.
A more sustainable lifestyle.
Okay, so we've explored the gardening. We've explored the herbal medicine, the connection to nature, the community aspect. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on yet?
They also talk about some more advanced homesteading techniques.
Yeah, like what?
Like seed saving.
Seed saving.
And animal husbandry.
Okay, that's a little more.
A little more advanced.
Intense.
Yeah, but seed saving is actually something that anyone can do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a great way to ensure that you have a supply of seeds from plants that have thrived in your specific climate and soil conditions.
Okay.
So they provide clear instructions on selecting seeds for saving, harvesting them at the right time, and storing them properly.
So you can use them?
For future use.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
I love that idea.
It's a beautiful tradition.
Yeah.
It really connects us to generations of gardeners who came before us.
Yeah, like you're carrying on.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's incredibly empowering to be able to save your own seeds and continue that cycle of growth.
Okay, I'm sold.
Okay.
I'll try seed saving.
All right.
Now, what about this animal husbandry thing?
So they do talk about specific animals.
Okay, like what kind of animals?
They focus primarily on chickens and bees.
Okay, so like classic.
Homesteading staples.
Right.
And they emphasize the importance of responsible animal care.
Of course.
And sustainable practices.
Right.
So they offer practical guidance on building a chicken coop, setting up beehives, and ensuring that your animals are well cared for and thriving.
Okay, I mean, that's a whole other...
It is.
Yeah, but it also sounds really...
It can be incredibly rewarding.
Rewarding.
Yeah, and they emphasize...
that you don't have to start big.
Okay.
You can begin with just a few chickens.
Right.
Or a single beehive.
Okay.
And gradually expand.
Okay.
As you gain experience and confidence.
That's a good approach.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guide is really about...
It's about empowering people. To take small steps. Towards a more holistic and sustainable lifestyle.
I like that. And they make it seem like...
And they emphasize that the journey is just as important as the destination.
It's about the process.
Exactly.
Not just the end result.
Yeah. It's about enjoying the process.
Yeah.
Learning from your mistakes.
Right.
And celebrating your successes.
I like that. Okay, so what are some of the key takeaways?
So for me, the most important takeaway is the emphasis on mindfulness and intention.
That keeps coming up.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's not just about doing the tasks.
Right.
It's about being present in the process.
Yeah.
And connecting with that deeper meaning.
I love that.
Behind what we're doing.
And I think it's really cool how they make it clear that you don't need like a ton of land or like years of experience to do this.
You can start small.
Yeah.
And they emphasize.
Yeah.
That the journey is unique for each individual.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong way to do it.
So you can kind of like make it your own.
Yeah, make your own.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you and your lifestyle.
Okay, so we've talked about all the good stuff, the inspiring stuff.
Okay.
What about the challenges?
So they do talk about some of the challenges that might come up.
Right, because it can't be
It's not always easy.
all sunshine and roses.
It's not.
Right.
They acknowledge that homesteading can be challenging.
Okay.
At times.
Okay, like what?
Especially when faced with setbacks, like pests or diseases.
Right.
Or unexpected weather events.
Just like real life.
Yeah, real life challenges.
Yeah.
But they emphasize
So how do they say to deal with it?
the importance of resilience and adaptability.
Okay.
They encourage you to view challenges as opportunities for learning and growth.
Okay.
So it's not about...
So instead of getting discouraged, you're like, okay.
We learn from it.
What can I learn from this?
Yeah. And they remind you that you're not alone.
That's really important.
In this journey, there's a whole community of homesteaders out there who are willing to share their experiences and offer support.
That's so important. You know, just knowing that there are other people out there who have been through it can really help.
It makes a huge difference.
When things get tough.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so speaking of challenges, what about, you know, we've been talking about homesteading all summer.
Right.
Like what happens when it gets to be fall, winter?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Because like...
The guide actually addresses that.
Okay.
They don't shy away from the realities of homesteading.
Because it's not all...
Throughout the year.
It's not.
Right.
So they offer practical advice. For preparing your garden and your home.
For the colder months.
For the colder months.
Okay. So what kind of advice do they give?
So for the garden, they talk about things like mulching
to
protect your soil.
Right.
Planting cover crops.
Which we talked about.
Exactly. To improve soil health.
Right.
And even building cold frames.
Cold frames.
Or small greenhouses.
Oh, wow.
To extend your growing season.
So you can still be growing things in the winter.
Even in the winter.
Oh, okay. And then what about like...
And for the home.
Yeah, prepping the home.
They emphasize creating cozy. And inviting spaces indoors.
Yeah.
Using natural elements. Like pine cones.
Oh, I love...
Evergreen branches.
Okay.
Incorporating warm textiles.
Yeah.
Like wool blankets and sheepskins.
So like making it really cozy.
Exactly. Creating that warmth.
Yeah.
And they even suggest using essential oils. Like cinnamon and clove.
Okay.
To create that warm and inviting atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. Like a nice holiday.
Yeah, so it's like bringing the outdoors in.
I like that.
Even when it's too cold to be outside.
Yeah, I do like that.
And they also talk about the importance of slowing down during the winter months.
Yeah.
Honoring those natural rhythms of rest and renewal.
Yeah, that's something I think we all need a reminder of.
We do.
Especially
in our busy modern lives.
Go society.
Right, yeah. It's so easy to just keep going.
Yeah.
Even when it's cold outside.
Right.
But they encourage us to use this time for introspection, for connecting with our inner selves, and for nurturing our body and mind.
So like really taking care of ourselves during that time.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so...
And they suggest creating simple winter rituals that promote peace and reflection.
Okay. Like what?
So whether it's curling up with a good book, enjoying a warm bath
I could do that.
by candlelight,
Yeah.
or simply spending time in nature,
Yeah.
observing the quiet beauty of the season.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are all good things, but are there any like challenges?
They do acknowledge
Yeah.
that winter can be a challenging time,
Right.
especially in terms of staying motivated and connected.
Yeah, because it's cold.
It is.
It's dark.
Yeah. You might be spending more time indoors.
Right. You're not out in your garden as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they suggest finding ways to stay active, both physically and socially.
So like...
even when the weather is less than inviting.
What kinds of things?
So they talk about things like organizing potlucks, hosting game nights, or even starting a book club.
That's a good idea.
With other homesteaders.
So you're still connecting with your people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also suggest taking up indoor hobbies. Like knitting, baking, or woodworking.
So you're keeping yourself busy.
You're keeping yourself engaged and stimulated.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about finding those ways.
Yeah, it's about finding those ways
to like stay
connected and engaged.
Even when it's cold and dark outside.
Okay.
And they remind you that spring will eventually return.
Ah, that's a good reminder.
Right.
Bringing with it a new cycle of growth and abundance.
Okay.
So they encourage you to use the winter months to dream, to plan
for next year,
and prepare for the next growing season.
I like that. It's like a time for reflection and planning.
Exactly.
For getting ready for
that next cycle.
Yeah, for that new beginning.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they also talk about the importance of celebrating the winter holidays in a way that aligns with your values.
Okay.
So they suggest making homemade gifts.
Okay.
Using natural decorations and focusing on creating meaningful experiences.
So like really putting that
rather than material possession
intention behind it. Okay, I like that.
It's about bringing
like bringing that whole holistic approach into every aspect
of your life.
Okay, so it sounds like this guide is really
not about like being perfect. But it's about
or doing everything from scratch.
Yeah, making those conscious choices.
Yeah. Making those conscious choices.
It's about making conscious choices and finding what works for you and your family.
Yeah. Finding what works for you seems to be like a big.
And they emphasize that the journey is ongoing.
Right.
There's always more to learn.
Yeah.
And new ways to grow.
Yeah.
They encourage you to embrace the process.
Evolving.
Be kind to yourself and celebrate your successes.
Okay, so for you, like after going through all this material, what stands out is like...
For me, it's the emphasis on intention and mindful awareness.
Okay.
It's about bringing that awareness into every aspect of our lives.
Into everything we do.
From the food we grow to the products we use to the way we can with nature and each other.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
It's not just about
doing the tasks.
Yeah.
It's about understanding why we're doing them.
Yeah.
And how they fit.
Yeah, and like what's the bigger...
Into that bigger picture.
Yeah, the bigger purpose.
Of living a more sustainable and fulfilling life.
I've really enjoyed this deep dive.
Me too.
It's been so interesting to really like explore all these different aspects.
It's fascinating.
Of holistic homesteading. And I think one of the things that I'm taking away from this is that like anybody can do this.
Absolutely.
You know,
you don't have to be an expert.
You don't have to have
a huge farm,
a huge piece of land.
Yeah.
You can do it.
You could do it in an apartment.
In your apartment.
You can do it in a small backyard.
Yeah.
You know,
it's really accessible.
It's really accessible.
Yeah.
And even small steps can make a difference.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, this has been
a great conversation.
A really fascinating conversation.
Yeah. I hope our listeners
I've learned so much.
Feel inspired.
Me too.
To take a step.
Yeah.
However small.
Yeah. Even if it's just like
towards creating a more holistic and sustainable lifestyle.
Yeah. It's a great place to leave it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for
this deep dive.
Sharing all your knowledge
into holistic homesteading
with us.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure.
Exploring this with you.